There comes a point in politics, really, when the game is up and the player often refuses to leave the field, and that, I suggest, is the moment we've reached with Kemi Badenoch, the leader of the Conservative Party. She is a figure who seems increasingly defined not by conviction or competence, but by deflection, confusion, and stubbornness. Let's not begin with the grand matter of statecraft, but with the small, instructive vignette of her car, the Jaguar. Badenoch, as we know, refused the government's official car service, preferring instead a private firm based in her own constituency because she'd had a squabble with the civil servant who was delegated to drive her backwards and forwards, and this despite multiple memos warning of security risks and raising questions of propriety. She blames the official driver for tardiness and insists her choice was security cleared, a claim that, even if technically accurate, evades the broader concern: why should a senior minister unilaterally disregard institutional protocol and at taxpayer expense? It's not the behaviour of a public servant, it's the behaviour of someone who confuses personal comfort with public duty and who lashes out when challenged, accusing others of destruction and leaking nonsense. It's the hallmark of a politician who thinks scrutiny is a form of sabotage. Then there's her foreign policy posturing, where she truly leaves the bounds of credibility. Defending Israel's war in Gaza, Badenoch claims this evening, about an hour ago, quite remarkably, that Israel is, quote, fighting a proxy war on behalf of the UK. This is not diplomacy, this is delusion. The analogy she offered, likening Gaza to Ukraine and Netanyahu to Zelensky, would be laughable if it were not so grotesque. The International Criminal Court has requested arrest warrants for Netanyahu and Gallant on charges of war crimes, while the International Court of Justice is hearing a genocide case. To dismiss such context as irrelevant and to say with unblinking bravado that it's not a genocide as people are saying is to place oneself firmly on the wrong side of international law and, dare I say it, of morality. It's not simply her silence on the starvation of Palestinian children that appalls, it's her insistence that strength is to be found in silence and loyalty to Netanyahu is leadership. It's not. Her position as leader of the opposition is actually to make noises. And meanwhile at home she's flailing. The Conservative Party has dropped to fourth in national polls behind Labour, the Lib Dems and Nigel Farage's Reform UK. That alone should shake any national and any national leader of a national party, anyone who has rational flair. But not Badenoch. She insists she has a long-term plan. We've never seen it. So did Napoleon at Moscow. Rather than tackle reform with reasoned policy, she dismisses Farage as unserious, even as she imitates his tone. She warns that he would be very bad for the country while parroting his nationalist bluster. The irony is sharp and dangerous. The electorate, it seems, can tell the difference between a crude original and a pale imitation, and reform is surging because it knows what it is. The Badenoch Conservatives, meanwhile, flounder in a fog of contradiction, and now calls are growing within her own party for her resignation, not from Labour, not from Twitter, but from councillors, MPs and party chairmen. She insists they're not serious calls. This is one of her mantras: it's not serious, it's not serious. But a leader who cannot hear the fire alarm is rarely qualified to lead the evacuation. We must not forget also her astonishing remarks on pensioners and winter fuel. She suggests millionaire pensioners should not receive the allowance. It's a sensible observation, perhaps, but without offering a mechanism for reform, it becomes little more than another theatrical soundbite, and not terribly theatrical. Indeed, these sort of politics, that's her modus operandi. Whether it's clashing with civil servants, jetting off to Texas, expecting the taxpayer to foot the bill, or using ministerial cars for gym visits in Knightsbridge. The Badenoch brand is not one of substance, but of spectacle and defiance. Leadership, it's not serious. Leadership in its truest sense requires not just vision, but judgment, the ability to weigh risks, to take advice, to accept criticism, and to course correct. What we have here is something entirely different. A refusal to listen, a refusal to learn, and most damning of all, a refusal to lead or to change. In the end, the greatest threat to the Conservative Party is not Farage, Starmer, or the Lib Dems. It's Kemi Badenoch's refusal to recognise that she's out of her depth, out of touch, and out of time.